You're listening to Spainfully Honest, the podcast where me, Paul,
And me, Catherine, talk about what it's really like living in Spain.
each week we'll share stories, tips, and honest conversations about daily life here in Spain. The good, the bad, and everything in between.
Whether you live in Spain or you're thinking about moving or you just want to know a little bit more, you're in the right place.
So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's get Spainfully Honest!
Hello and welcome to episode 19. This week we're talking all things to do with winter in Spain.
Yeah, because it's not all summer here.
No?
It's sometimes winter as well.
Even though the winter in some places can feel like still a summer.
It's all relative. It's all
Yeah.
relative. It's not all sunshine and it's not all hot. It can be sunny, but not hot.
Yeah.
So
There are different little things, little quirks, little things you should know about the winter in Spain. So today we're going to dive into all of that. So before we kick it all off, Paul, how was your week?
I had an interesting week this week.
Oh, yeah?
I bought a house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and when we're talking about buying houses, there was obviously we've done an episode about that before, but this one took 24 days from giving the deposit to completing.
Wow.
So that's fairly quick, but it proves it's possible. Good
Yeah.
lawyer, good agent, me not messing about with mortgage or anything, seller ready to sell. 24 days.
Wow.
Absolutely brilliant.
24 days.
It's not bad, is it?
That's a turnaround. That's a great turnaround.
Yeah, so
Brilliant.
that was that week. And then
Oh, nice.
at the weekend we had Michael's Day, which is Alan's and Debbie's son, who passed away 13 years ago now. And they do a golf day in aid of charity, so Diabetes UK. And it was a great day. The golf was excellent, and we had an evening do as well. And raised another over €700 again on the evening. And that's over €10,000 in 13 events.
Wow. Very good.
So, yeah, no, fantastic.
Oh,
Really
that's
good.
great.
Great.
Oh.
Everybody was really generous when they were there, and no, fantastic.
Yeah.
Great charity. That's why I was a little bit red. Because I went playing golf and the sun was out, but a little bit cloudy. Deceptive.
It is deceptive.
Deceptive.
Yeah. You think you're not,
Burning away.
yeah, you think it might get burnt, but then you do.
I did. So that was that.
And another great piece of news as of today.
Right.
You should know about this already.
Come on.
But we're recording this obviously a couple of weeks ago from when we released it. But we've been living in this area without water.
Oh, yes. Right. Phew, I thought it would have done as well. I didn't know.
In the kind of, I
When's
guess,
the baby due?
gosh,
Not that.
don't even manifest that into the universe. Christ. No, we've been waterless in this area for, how long has it been now? Since the 10th of October. That's when
Yeah.
Dana was. Yep. So
Yeah.
today is I'm recording this, is the 21st of October.
Yeah.
So that's how long we've been not without water. It's been back and forth. We had no
Yeah.
water, then we had water that we couldn't use. We could only use it to flush the loo. Then we
We
had,
never had no water.
really all
Yeah,
we had.
because the property we were in has so the
Of
block we're in
course.
has this tank.
Yeah.
So we never ran out, even though it was off. We didn't know because there aren't enough people in the block to use the deposit. So we never didn't
Yeah.
have water.
Yeah, so some people were like, oh no, we still have water, and they were in apartment buildings as well. But then it kind of gradually ran out, but I guess more people must live in those buildings. But we're just in what you call this townhouse, terraced house kind of thing. And obviously, as soon as they cut off the water, we had no water.
Yeah.
So it was about 36 hours with no water at all. That was obviously the worst time. Because
Yeah.
you're having to use your bottled water to flush the loo and all sorts. Yeah, that's the worst bit, I think. But then obviously that water came back on. They tried to get that sorted really quickly. And then it was still, you couldn't use the water for anything other than flushing the loo and mopping the floors. And then on Sunday, it came back, you were allowed to shower and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Never enjoyed a shower more in my life, let me tell you.
Just no
Must
consumption
been-
effectively. No,
Yeah.
and that's done, isn't it?
No, as of today,
Is it back? I mean, I never drink it, so it didn't affect me.
yeah, but I drink tea, and I wasn't even using it for that, even though I boiled the water. So I'll
Right.
use tap water for tea. I don't like bottled water for
Because
tea.
we never really knew what the
Weird.
issue was. It was still bad,
Yeah.
really. Did we?
Well, like
I think
I
it
was
was
saying-
heavy metals.
Yeah.
Then boiling it wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course it was sewage and all sorts. So yeah, in my brain it was just.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so Sunday you could start showering, and then today they just released the statement, the town halls. I don't know about the inland towns, but on the coast, the ones that were served by that water area, they said that the water is fine for everything now. So preparing your food, for drinking,
Jolly good.
So thank God that has been a mad couple of weeks, hasn't it? No
What
more.
an experience. The power cut thing.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah.
Because we have, I mean, between us, we've had 40 years here and we've had loads of downers or different
Yeah.
versions, haven't we? But that's never happened.
That's never happened. No, no. I don't think it's something that it's like, sometimes things start to happen and you think, well, that's probably going to continue to happen. I think it was just a fluke.
Yeah.
So the Danas kind of have happened and they say that, well, they'll obviously continue to happen and will possibly get worse over time and things like that. But that was just, I think, a fluke. It was just water happened.
Because there wasn't as much water this time as there was in 2020, whatever it was, 19, and that didn't happen.
That didn't happen then.
So,
no. So it's part of the winter in Spain to lead us in a little bit to the episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. But yeah, as Paul said, we've been here between us, about 40 winters in Spain between us.
I have my original ones, so yours were different as well, weren't they? My original ones were on the Costa del Sol.
Yeah.
I had 2 winters down there on the Costa del Sol. And more since, because obviously when I was working and going there, I went there for 8 years, every 3 nights a week. So I've been there as well. And the difference for me there is that it can be sunny, but when it was windy off the Atlantic, it was cold.
Yeah.
And also a bit wetter. I always felt there was more rain down there than the ones was here. Not necessarily heavy, just more often in the winter than here.
That sounds nice to me.
Yeah.
Like head further south or further north.
But it was, it was quite a shock for me when I first went and lived there. I didn't expect it to drop that cold.
Yeah.
In the evenings, I didn't expect that. And it's not like that here.
Yeah. No, it's not at all. I mean, same to you, my first winters were in Madrid. And I don't think people realize how cold it gets in Madrid. Like, it gets really cold. I mean, because of where it is like a central plateau almost, it doesn't tend to, it rains a bit, obviously more than this area, but it doesn't it's more about the temperature, it doesn't tend to snow a lot, or it doesn't tend to,
well,
it rains
ski
a
now.
lot. Yeah, you can go to the Sierra nearby and you can ski. So yeah, it does snow in the mountains, but as far as, where you live, it doesn't really snow to stick. But I did say in one of our first episodes that when I first moved over to Madrid, it was the end of January and the very beginning of February, it snowed. So I was like, what on earth?
Move to Spain? All this rubbish? I'm moving here for snow.
It is so cold in Madrid, but it's mad because it's one of those, where it's like in the middle of the day, it's like the summer for us. Like in Ireland, it would be the summer. And then it's like at nighttime, it drops so much.
That's right.
It's so
massive differences of temperature.
Yeah.
And then that's here as well, isn't it? And it's just big differences. Not yet. We haven't got to that yet, have we? So like today, it's supposed to be 30 degrees today. It's a lovely day, as you can see from the sun. But it won't drop low tonight. But when you get a day like this in January, it can be perhaps not 30, but 25, 22, 23, 24, 25 or whatever, and then drop to like 4 or 5 degrees.
Yeah.
And that is a massive temperature drop. Like whereas more perhaps in the UK, it might be get up to 10 during the day and drop to 3 or 4 or even 0. But that's only 10 degrees. This is a 20-degree drop.
Yeah, you can really notice it, can't you? Yeah. But in this area, it's, if you're living on the coast, we're in Murcia, but also Almeria would be similar to here, wouldn't it? Both areas are quite dry and quite warm. Probably the warmest areas, I would say.
And I think here as well, particularly in winter, the Mar Menor has an effect.
Yeah.
Because the Mar Menor is an inland sea. It's the biggest in Europe, I think.
It's a lagoon.
And so it doesn't, because it's only shallow, I think it's at the deepest, it's about 15 feet deep. It heats up quickly.
Yeah.
And so if you get out a nice day, it warms up a bit. And I think that creates a little microclimate for here that means it's not as cold at night.
Definitely does. Because obviously inland in Murcia, it snows. It's cold in Murcia, but of course, us on the coast where we are, we're quite protected here. There are microclimates like that throughout Spain. It's not just in this area. If you're in a mountainous area, there might be a valley where there's a little microclimate, or it's usually on the coast, I think, though, isn't it? Because the coast protects you.
I mean, the Mediterranean effectively is a big lake, really. And so that also keeps the east coast of Spain definitely a little bit warmer than the other coast. That's off the Atlantic, so you do, I think you feel it less here than you would over there. But on the other hand, to that, they're probably geared up to it better than here. Things in the end of it. It's probably what you like, isn't it? What you want.
But it's funny because we're talking about that, you know, people think when they're moving to Spain that, you know, all of Spain is sunny. And especially then when people move to maybe somewhere on the coast, whether you're in Andalusia, Almeria, coast of Murcia, where it is going to be sunny most of the time, people think that's Spain, you know? So like, for example, whenever I write an article about the weather and say it's, you know, it's about general Spain, and I'll say, you know, expecting rain and snow in some areas, people put up like, you know, these laughing emojis and, you know, fake news underneath it. And then they start having a conversation between themselves, 28 degrees here, 25 degrees here. And they put pictures of the sun and stuff. And I'm like,
you know, a lot of things people forget is how big Spain is.
Exactly.
I mean, Spain is, I've got the actual measurements here, 506,000 square kilometres. So France is a little bit bigger at 632, but the UK is only 243. So it's like half the size, or less than half the size. Ireland, 70.
Oh.
I mean, it's small compared to, you know, Russia, Canada, USA, China, and everything, but for Europe, it's big.
It's a big.
And there's a big difference. The Pyrenees in the north, you know, they'll have snow now, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, and even Sierra Nevada, they've put them on now that there's snow in Sierra Nevada.
Exactly.
We're at, you know, October.
Yeah, so it's scorching down here, but in the north, like Jamie, my son, is based in Oviedo, and they have like weather that's probably like a nice day in Ireland, I would say. You know, you kind of, it gets it gets windy, it's cold, it's misty, you know, he's getting rain more often and stuff like that. You know, it's totally different down here. And obviously because of that, then so is the landscape. It's beautiful and green, and he's always hiking in this forest. It's gorgeous. Lush up in the north of Spain, but they get a lot of rain up there, and they get a lot of snow in certain areas and stuff like that. And you know, they get usually nice summers, but in the winter, the autumn, the spring, they have different
when
weather.
I played the golf on Saturday, there was a dew on the fairways and everything. Unbelievable. I mean, it was like, you know, a lot of water. But like, there's then cactuses, palm trees, and then there's this, you know, this heavy dew. Not a fat person, a lot of water.
I thought you meant they're religion.
I see. No, if you're from Birmingham, you know what dew is. What do you call it then? What do you call it?
It's just how my brain went to.
Anyway, there was a lot of it.
Dew.
And it took about, we got there at 9 o'clock. It took about 2.5 hours to go.
Wow.
And I'm crap at golf, so it really slowed my ball down. So it didn't help me much. So,
but yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how people don't really realise how big Spain is, and how there's such a variation in the weather. Like there's such a variation.
and I think from that point of view, it's very good if you are thinking of coming.
Yeah.
Perhaps more so from America than say the UK, because the climate in the UK doesn't vary that much because of the size of it, obviously. But from America, you know, if you come in for culture and you're not just coming for weather, then you will probably be able to find somewhere with a very similar climate in where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want it so wet as where you're from, but you want it warm, then there'll be somewhere for that. So it's definitely just a case of having a look round and see what you like.
Area.
You know, because, you know, it stopped now. Well, up until 2 weeks ago, everybody was complaining about how hot it was.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not suddenly become very hot in this area of Spain. It's always been very hot. Relative, and things are changing, aren't they? But it's still always been hot. You don't come here if you don't like the heat.
No, if you don't like the heat, no, definitely do not come here. No, 100%. I mean, as American people seem to really like Sevilla. They seem to really drawn to Sevilla.
Really?
And it's really hot there, like super hot. But it'd be similar to Madridish. But it's quite far south, so maybe not in the same way. But yeah, definitely worth researching the weather before choosing.
And decide what you like, because nobody can tell you that. So I mean, you know, what do you want? Whenever people come from the UK, usually they want it warmer, and so virtually everywhere is warmer. So, so that.
But yeah, by comparison.
Well, they're sometimes surprised, particularly when you see people who are on the north coast, Bilbao, Santander, how much rain there is.
Yeah.
And that's what they didn't expect or want.
No, a lot of rain,
Well, I mean, they can have beautiful summers and beautiful springs, you know. I mean, when you see the landscape and everything, it's fantastic. But it's like that because it gets rain.
Exactly. In the same way, Ireland is as stunning as it is because it's raining all the time, practically. It's gorgeous.
And Almeria, take it the other way around. Almeria is a bit like a desert,
It's natural desert.
Because because it's got a desert climate. I'm going to sit further forward because although it's winter, if I do that, you can't see me. I look a bit like a ghost. I mean, it's very close to Halloween, but so I'll do this. I'll sit like this. We haven't had the issue before because we've been doing it in the morning before. This is our first afternoon episode.
But yeah, and then one of the reasons why people love going to is it a Malaga area, or when you're quite close to maybe Granada, because you can.
Yeah, so I mean, and this has happened. I've done it once, but when we were there the first time, the head waiter was Bulgarian, and what he did, he worked in Spain for the summer, and then he went to the ski resorts in Bulgaria for the winter. But he would go to Sierra Nevada on his day off. So he'd set off at 6 a.m, he'd go and ski, and then he'd come back to the bar in the afternoon. He'd be back by 6 o'clock having a pina colada.
Yeah.
And he'd been skiing all day.
Yeah.
It's like about 2 hours to Sierra Nevada from Malaga.
Yeah.
And he'd go early, ski all day, come back and have a pina colada on the beach.
So
Can't be bad.
But people love that area, isn't it? Because of the variation of different things you can do. And even in that area, on that coast, so Malaga, the Axarquia area, so Nerja, and we go into the mountains there, Compte, Frigigliana, all those kind of areas. They have break, we always talk about how in the UK they have midterm breaks, but they don't have them in Spain. But they actually have a little midterm break in some areas where they get snow nearby, and they call them a white week, Semana Blanca. And it's for people to go and ski and stuff like that. Yeah. So not all towns, but in some towns, usually up inland in the south of Spain, you'll have it. And I imagine other parts of Spain as well. I just know that they definitely are in the south of Spain and inland Andalusia. They have it called a Semana Blanca. But I imagine that would be anywhere inland mountainous.
It's close to a mountain. I've been to Sierra Nevada. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's lovely. And what I liked about it was, because I'm not a skier, I'm an advocate, I'm not very good at it, but what I liked about it was the bars and restaurants were sensible prices. I suppose you're still a captive audience, but it wasn't ridiculous.
And take the piss.
That's great. Go up there, have a play with the snow, throw some snowballs or whatever, but still have a beer for like €2.50. In a resort like that,
Yeah, because Jamie, before he moved to Oviedo, lived in Granada. So he used to get the bus up and down to the Sierra Nevada. He loved it. Yeah, it's cool.
So that's worth looking at, especially if you like a bit of skiing, but you also like the sun.
Yeah.
It's a good place to go.
Yeah, because Granada actually, even when you look at kind of like the weather and stuff, it looks like it gets pretty cold. But Jamie from living there, who actually went because he thought it was going to be, much colder than here, it's not really. Because when we were there, it was like a freak time. It snowed when we were in Granada. In the city of Granada, but it doesn't usually. So he actually was like, oh, it's much hotter than I thought it was going to be. So it's actually quite a nice balance. If you're looking for like
the temperature, the altitude, isn't it?
Yeah,
because when you drive out of Granada, you're driving up for a good hour.
Yeah. So it's like there's like a place where everyone stops between, say, here.
There's a place where people drive off the cliff as well, because I did that one. I drove off the cliff going there.
Oh my God.
I'm very lucky to be alive, actually, myself and my daughter.
Right.
Yeah, so be careful when you're driving up there.
So you can get to a point in between where it's freezing and then it gets warmer again when you get to Granada. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't believe there's many places in the world where you can literally within 2 hours ski and then have a pina colada on the beach.
Yeah.
So it's quite unique when about that area.
Actually, yeah. So how does this affect daily life? So I guess it's more about the houses and stuff, isn't it? So in our area where we are, the houses are geared up for the heat.
Yeah.
And so
high ceilings, a lot of places, so that obviously the heat rises, but that's a problem with the cold. Open staircases, there are in a lot of houses where the staircases are open, so the heat comes in, goes up the stairs and goes out to the top window or the back window. Obviously, when you're trying to heat the house, you put the heaters on and the air goes up the thing and straight up and then it's freezing again. So that sort of thing. Yeah,
they are hard to heat, and it can be much colder indoors sometimes than it actually is outdoors. Yeah,
when you get that kind of day there, the sun comes out and it's been cold overnight, obviously.
Yeah,
you open the door and the hot air rushes in.
And that's why people always say when they go out to get heat, and you're never really sure what clothes to put on because you're cold in your house. You're going probably like with your fleecy pajamas on and your slippers. What I do in the house. But then you go outside and you put on maybe a jumper and a pair of jeans, but then you go out into the sun and it's t-shirt weather, you know, like it's roasting
Take everything off.
and you're like, yeah,
It's just got to be layers, hasn't it? You've
Yeah.
got to have layers on.
Yeah.
You know, there's not really much. I haven't got like a thick coat. I've got, you know, I think the best sort of outerwear for here is like almost like a sailing coat
yeah,
that is thin,
Like a
waterproof and
windbreaker.
windproof.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't need thick fleece in this area. I mean, probably in Madrid, you perhaps would
Definitely,
need something a
definitely.
bit more padded. But
for night. But again, in Madrid, layer all the way. I would say even more so in Madrid because it'll get really hot in the daytime. And again, you'll probably be in your t-shirt in Madrid most of the time. But the difference in temperature at nighttime, it's freezing. So you're always going around with like a coat over your arm or something over your arm because if you're going to work, especially if you're there on holiday, of course, you can just keep going back to the hotel. But if you're going to work or you're going, you know, you're out of the house for the day, you know, when you leave the house in the morning time, it's freezing, you probably have a coat on. But then when you're
going for lunch
going
and it's
for lunch,
roasted.
it's roasting. Yeah, it's mad. The difference is mental. But yeah, definitely layering. And I mean, while we're talking about clothes in Madrid, it's like super fashionable. Like they're
Yeah, China.
ultra, yeah. Even just like going to, it's something that I always laugh about. We see on Instagram, and you know when you do the content about a lot of Americans like Madrid as well. Actually, you see a lot of people from the United States in Madrid, and they're like, you know, oh my God, you know, you have to leave behind this going around in your sweats and your yoga pants, as they call them, like your gym gear, I would say. And yeah, because like people walk around Madrid, going to the supermarket, dropping their kids off at school, like dressed really nice, like, you know, it's really, really nice clothes and a lot of coats. And I love a winter coat, so I loved that. But down here, I stopped buying.
You look a bit of an album.
Stop buying. Yeah, it's never cold enough here to wear.
You got brown red face, big all the time.
Trying my best.
It's like when you go shopping. So like they'll all be in there now, and nobody's buying them because it's 30 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And then it'll go cold for a day, and everybody will buy one.
Yeah.
And then they'll go straight in the sale.
Yeah.
Because they know the length of
Yeah.
time they've got to sell them is so short.
You probably wear it once or twice in the winter, and so I think you can go without because you don't really need it. I think you know what's good for this area? A jacket.
A jacket, yeah. It's not a shirt, it's a jacket.
A shirt jacket.
Lies. I've never heard that before.
I have like a fleecy jacket. That's perfect. It's a fleecy
jacket.
It's not like fleecy on the inside. It's just for show on the outside. It looks cozy.
Oh,
It's actually
okay.
quite a light thing, you
So
know.
it's a fake jacket.
It's a fake jacket. Yeah,
Oh.
but it's handy. You can wear it with jeans, and it's more than a shirt, so it keeps you warm if it is a bit chilly. So I recommend a jacket for this
I mean,
area.
what else can you do in the house? Curtains? So like, because you'd normally probably just have voiles, because you don't need curtains. Oh, there's got it there, you see. I've never had a jacket. She's never had a voile.
Oil.
But in the winter, having curtains definitely helps. And also rugs.
Rugs, throws, all that kind of stuff.
Because most of the houses are ceramic floors, which is cold when you touch it anyway.
Yeah.
You can get underfloor heating, but it's not that common. It's not been put in a lot of places before, and it's hard work after.
These days, I think some of the newer houses
Yeah.
it's been put in if you ask.
Yeah.
I don't think they automatically put it in, but it's something that if you buy a new house, you can get it put in at additional cost.
And then it would be useful because, I mean, obviously it's a massive, ceramic floor is a massive sort of conductor of cold heat. That makes sense. And once your feet get cold here, it's hard to get warm.
Yeah.
So slippers, rugs. And with the summer, you just roll the rug up, put it down the sofa or whatever.
Yeah.
So definitely rugs.
And then the what do you call it? The glazing in the windows.
Yeah, I mean, we said this before when we were talking about properties, but I lived in a house when I was in Andalusia. I lived in a house built by a Danish builder, and he was adamant that he put triple glazing in. The walls were double thick walls with insulation in the middle, because one, it was to keep all the heat out in the summer, and it worked. It was so much cooler inside his house than anywhere else. But also, as you would anywhere else in Northern Europe, it was to keep the cold out in.
Yeah.
And his house, with virtually no aircon or heating, was always around 21 degrees inside. So, that is definitely something to do if you can. If you buy a new house or you specify and get double glazing, and it's not a lot more. I mean, they do different thicknesses. The basic one is only about 10 millimetres. It's not a big gap. To have it increased to 20 doesn't cost any more in glass. it's only a little bit of the filler that's more. So it's not that much more, or it shouldn't be. So tell them you're not paying a lot more because although it's thicker, it's not actually costing a lot more to make. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And something that some people say is obviously when you're buying a property, some properties are made to be holiday properties. So they might have a single glazing, they might not have as much insulation.
They'll have loads of glass as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, even if it's double glazed, it's still cold to touch. When you touch it, it's still cold compared to a wall. And it doesn't retain any heat at all, whereas a wall will. So if you get a day like today, the walls will be warming up. They'll stay warm for a couple of hours after. If you've got a lot of glass on the front of your property, the moment the sun goes down, it instantly loses that temperature.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's where the curtains come in.
Yeah.
When you're replacing the voiles.
Voiles.
Yeah. So curtains in the winter. And also another thing, I've seen it a lot of townhouses. They literally just bought that townhouse this week. It's one thing to think about. Is people put in a curtain at the bottom of the stairs to stop the heat in the lounge going straight up the stairs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And we've got this house is 3 floors.
Yeah.
So it's just it's straight up to the top of the house. So it's like my office is up here on the top floor. So in the summer it does be roasting up here, roasting. And in the winter be freezing up here.
What a lot of people don't know, and it's worth remembering, is a lot of people put fans in, and I'm quite in favour of fans as well as aircon, not instead of as well.
Definitely as
well.
well.
But if you reverse a fan, it sends the hot air down. So because the hot air is rising, you put it on reverse, it actually reverses the process and sends the hot air down, not the cold air. So remember that.
Oh, that's nifty.
Yeah, they all have that function to reverse it. So. Oh, I mean, the other thing we said was one more thing is obviously the orientation of the house.
Oh, yeah.
So in the summer, south facing or west facing probably are the hottest. Southwest facing probably the hottest houses.
This is west where we are now. So
yeah, which is,
so
as you can see
directly on his head.
Yeah. So in the summer it will get warm. But in the winter, sometimes you want that heat to sort of come in through the window. So, it's another reason for it. But you might, if it's the other way around, you get sun in the morning and you might be able to keep that heat in if you have it. So just check your orientation and how you use it. Yeah,
because one thing I'm like crazy for the blinds in the summer for blocking out the heat. But in the winter then I have all the blinds in the house open, letting the sun just come into the house all day and it heats it up so that you don't really need to use the heating too much. Right. Even though we have the gas central
you've got central, because that's quite rare in Spain.
Yeah.
Outside cities, it's unusual to have gas central.
They're starting to lay it in lots of places now, but we got it. Because obviously I'm Irish and I could probably get away with it, but Alex is Spanish and so he feels the cold more than me. And then obviously Max is half Spanish and he's exactly like Alex, so he'll feel the cold a little bit more. So, but then it's weird, you get used to it. Yeah,
I mean, you change both ways, don't you? I mean, you change both ways from being somewhere that's great in the cold. If you've been here a bit, you lose that sort of, what do you call it?
Climatize?
Yeah, climatization of coldness. And you become, I had milk round and paper rounds when I was a kid and then banging your fingers when your hands were cold and stuff like that. Yeah. Now, the thought of it makes me feel ill.
Yeah.
It's
weird because you're like somewhere in the middle. I'm not able to deal with the heat like Spanish people can, but I'm also not able to deal with the cold like an Irish person can anymore. Yeah. I'm like somewhere really soft in the middle, like.
Idealistic, probably, but it's true. It's true.
It is true, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to say something about the gas bottles, didn't you? The humidity.
Yeah. So obviously, central heating, if you could get it, probably is the ideal. Yeah. Because it gives off dry heat. If you can't get that, because there's no gas, obviously, then you would use, people think the alternative is the bottled gas, the propane or the butane. Yeah. The problem with that is, when you pick one up, you can hear it slushing around. It's not literally just gas; it's liquid gas, and it gives off a massive amount of water. So I checked out this. It was quite interesting, actually. A 13-kilogram gas canister, which is the standard size that you pick up in all the petrol stations, of butane, produces 230 moles. Not the little furry animals, but moles of usable gas.
Ah,
Yeah.
so it's a type of measurement.
But it also creates 4.3 litres of water from every canister. So if you put a canister in a room, you think, you know, a gas heater in a room, you think warm in the room, and especially if you think, oh, I'm going to try and dry it out, you're not, you're making it worse. 4.3 litres, like a bucket full of water. Imagine just throwing that at a wall.
So
That's what
you're making it warmer, but it's making it more humid.
Yeah,
at the same time.
And wet, literally
Yeah, wet.
4 litres of water comes out of one of those. So, you know, if you have got a damp issue, that's not going to help it. That's going to make it worse. In fact, it might even start it, you know, because of that. But 4.3 litres of water is a lot of water.
So, oh, yeah.
So what you really want is, you know, like if you can't have gas central heating radiators, you can get electric radiators that effectively do the same job, like a convector. You get fan heaters.
Yeah.
Fan heaters will do that as well because they're not creating water. Also, you know, the convector radiators. That's what.
And then they're good because you get them just for the rooms that you use the most.
Yeah.
It's not like something you have to put in there.
And a lot of time is they warm that wall as well. So it's not just the size of the radiator; it's warming the wall as well.
The house
I've got them in my house. I've got bought them from Amazon. They were about £100 each, roughly €100 each. Sort of 2 or 3 foot long, they're different sizes. Very good. And some of them you can get where you can do it from your phone, so you can put them on before you come home. I didn't bother with that. It's too technical for me. But you know, and then in the winter you just put them on, set them at 23, and they just go on and off on a thermal.
Isn't it? We have like a remote control for the gas central heating. That's a thermostat. So we put it in like the coldest spot in the house. So as soon as it starts to get cold, it comes up. We have it on a certain temperature. So as soon as it drops below that temperature, the heating comes on the whole house.
Yeah.
So usually in the warmer areas of the house, then by the time it warms up, it's gotten cold there too. You know, so it's perfect. So we just need to have like that the whole time.
With yours, the good thing about yours is not using your electricity allowance, as we call it.
Yeah.
So if you put several convector radiators in, they are using your 3.3 kilowatt if you're on standard time, and you find that things start to trip if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So just be wary of that.
Yeah, because we have a gas hob as well, and then it's also the gas water heater, so it heats up. We have the hot water as well, so we got the whole shebang.
Yeah, that's more like
in
the UK. It's easy, the ideal, I think, if you can get it.
I like it.
But like I say, a lot of people can't. But don't think that is the same as bottled gas. It's not. So they're great because you can push them around into different rooms and everything.
Yeah.
But particularly if they try to get rid of mold, that's not going to work. That's going to make it worse, definitely.
And if you are on the coast, there is an issue. We live close to the coast. There's a lot of it's very humid, and there's be issues with mold in the properties. So you will probably have to treat the property indoors and outdoors for mold. So
you can get different paints, can't you? You can get different types of clean, can't you, for the bathroom? Because you get a lot of bathrooms here that don't have a window.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they get obviously loads of condensation. That's what's the winter, that's the summer as well.
Yeah.
And so you can get anti-mold spray, you can get anti-mold, the grout. I'm sure you can get all these in England as well, but you can get it here.
Yeah.
Places like England.
I think it's like anti-mow. It looks like pretty same. It's like moho. It's
Moho,
like anti-moho. Yeah.
Anti-moho.
So and they have, because in the coast it's everywhere. So they have it in the paint. You can even get, like, if you're painting your sitting room, you can get the color, and it's usually in it as well. Like, not a lot of colors, but your basic colors. So it's really good, and you can get it for outdoors. So we had a couple of places, like we're in this house where the sun doesn't shine, and the humidity in those rooms is terrible. We have like an outdoor terrace on top, which is what making it even worse, because if it rains, it's making it. So you can actually get a paint that you can put on the tiles outdoors. It turns everything like a reddy terracotta color. You probably see it in a lot of places, and it just makes it warm.
Have you found any mold in this house is a lot better since you had the radiators?
Oh my God, yeah, it's cleared it right up. Like this room used to be full of it because of the big window that's in the room. That wall used to be black all the time.
And what did you use for heating before that then?
It was just those kind of electric radiator things that were in a couple of rooms. We even had one on that wall that was bad, but it was just whatever way the window is, the condensation would come off it, and it would make the wall completely black. But yeah, it is a big issue in this area. And in fact, I would even say the humidity can make it feel colder as well. When it does get cold, the humidity kind of makes it feel colder. So the real feel.
And you can get a dew. You have to watch out for the dew. Watch out for the dew. Get quite a bad dew. particularly on the tile, a bit slippy. Okay?
Yeah, be careful with that. Tiles do get slippy. Yeah.
So I mean, in that case, in that respect, you're going to have to keep an eye on the electricity bill, obviously. So if you are putting things on to heat, you're gonna get a higher electricity bill.
Yeah.
If you use electric. Just be careful with those gas bottles because a lot of people have them.
Yeah.
And in particular, if you're using it for that reason, it's a lot of water.
Yeah. And then obviously, I'd just like to highlight as well that a lot of people think that, you move to Spain, a lot of people move for the weather and for the cost of living. These days, there's not oodles of difference in the cost of living, I wouldn't say. And so your bills, they're not as low as people think they're going to be. The electricity bills, I think people think it's going to be much cheaper. Everything's going to be much cheaper. But I don't think the electricity bills are that much cheaper, especially when, in the summer, you probably need your aircon on a lot. And then in the winter,
I've already said before, I have my aircon on for 2.5 months. Everything, not turned off, just set at 25 degrees and not turned off.
Yeah.
Because it was just so constantly hot day and night.
It is hot here.
And it's the first time I've ever done that. I've usually had it set, perhaps a bit lower, and I've only really put it on in the evening to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But this time, just sitting in and working in the house just felt too hot.
It is
I
hard.
might be getting soft. I'm old. I'm fat. But it was definitely more consistent.
I know I have to say that I don't have the aircon on the whole time. I would have the aircon on, like you say, when it's the evening time, to go to sleep and all that kind of stuff. I would put it on the evening time, but I would try and power through the daytime.
Normally, I think, it's always been open a window on the north side of the house, open a window on the south side of the house, and you'll get a breeze through.
Yeah.
I just found that the breeze was as warm as, it was a hot breeze, so it wasn't working.
And again, the humidity here just means that the heat just sticks to you. It's so difficult. Like the cross breeze, I can't really remember using the aircon in Madrid, I'll be honest. I remember just the breeze just coming through, like there's windows everywhere and the breeze would just come through. I can't really remember. I guess I did, but I wouldn't have been a lot. But down here, it's a necessity. Like, the cross breeze comes to us.
You have to just account.
Yeah, the end of July, August, the breeze running through the house is just as warm. It doesn't do anything to cool you down really. So yeah, just keep it on. So obviously your bills, it's not as cheap as you think it's going to be, but also there's always those big ones. So you've got the August, September bill is really high, of course, because you have your
I think you'll have like you said, you have 4 months of high bills.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, you might have 8 months of high bills, for example. Yeah. So you're going to have, but they're going to be quite high when you get them.
Well, I think then, but people have the expectation that they're going to be much lower here. And they're not as low as people think. So then when they get the high one, they're totally stunned. Like you see a lot of people putting their bills up on Facebook and they're like, is this correct? Is this correct? And probably is, probably.
We had a day, I think it was in June, when they managed to do 100% of electricity or self-sustained, or what do you call it?
Sustainable?
Actually, sustainable. But the bills are not coming down.
Yeah.
It's surprising. You'd think the bills would come down, but perhaps that'll be in the future. If you're watching, Miss Stripes, half a ghost.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. That sounded all maybe slightly negative. I don't think it is. It's just
it's still loads better.
Yeah.
Still like it.
It can just sound like you're moaning or complaining, but not. But so basically, you just wanted to say that it's still better. Even when it's kind of cold out in Spain, Spanish people and the life in Spain just is more outdoors. So it's like, first of all, if you're out and about, the cafe culture and all that kind of stuff is everywhere. And if you get like a sun trap somewhere, like Paul is in now. But outdoors on a terrace, a sun trap, it's like 30 degrees.
They all have the toldos outside. They all and like you said, if you can get where the wind is just hitting the side, that's the toldos.
Yeah.
Inside it, in fact.
But you can get a sun trap. It's like the middle of summer again. It's been roasting. My mum and dad in this area know all the sun traps in all the places. Like they'd be there, like in the corners of all the little terraces. They know them. So yeah, and then obviously they doesn't, even if it is cold, even if you can find the sun trap, they have all those outdoor heaters like they have everywhere, of course.
Yeah.
And it's just, life is still outdoors. It's still, you wouldn't find a lot of people kind of, sitting in and watching the TV a lot,
But and in the bars even still,
Yeah.
It's still preferred to sit on the terrace for as long as you can. I mean, there is the facility to sit inside.
Yeah.
But majority of people do still sit
It's
inside.
like
I think that's to do
3
with smoking as well.
Probably,
But it's just, it is outside if possible.
Yeah.
Is
It's all
where it goes.
Yeah, it's just the life is still like that, so it's still lovely. Like a bit cooler sometimes, but
Last night I went out last night with Alan and his family. We were sat outside. But you just have like a fleece on or whatever. It was a bit cool.
yeah, it was still nice to be out.
Still had shorts on, so it was not that cold. I mean, it's not. We haven't got to that yet. Anyway.
Yeah.
I've had best part of 20 Christmases here, and I can only remember one where it was too cold to sit like on the terrace. We had a couple that had rained, but it wasn't cold. It just so you had to be in a covered terrace.
Yeah.
But I can only remember one where we said, oh, it's too cold to be outside on this Christmas, and that's 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, Christmas, I always feel like the winter doesn't really start in this area of Spain until January.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas is always really warm, but Christmas is always really warm, and you almost always feel like you have to go for a walk after your dinner or something, don't you? Because it's like you want to be cozy at home on Christmas Day in the decorations, but the sun does be shining down. It's really warm. So it's kind of like after you have your big meal, you'll often go out for a walk here, walk by the beach, or, walk on the beach.
We haven't got to duvet change day.
No, I haven't, but I do.
We haven't got there yet. No.
I've
It is
done,
always a
like-
nice day.
yeah.
I like that day, but you always do it too soon.
Yeah.
You always think, oh yeah, I got to do that, and then you think,
And then
it's
you're
too much.
roasting.
It's
Yeah.
too
So I was going to put it on that weekend gone, and then I saw on the news it's going to be another heat. It's going to heat up again in this area. So I'll hang on another week or so. So I hate being too warm trying to go to sleep. I'd rather be the other way around, go and sleep.
But that means, if that's, so say you do that in November, say you did it next week, so that's November. So that you'd probably be thinking about taking it off by March. So that means you've only had it on for 4 months.
Yeah.
That is the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
How short the winter period is.
Definitely. Another thing to obviously keep in mind is that, a lot of places along the coast that do depend kind of on the weather and tourism and stuff, it can be really quiet in the winter.
Yeah.
It's something to keep in mind. So check it out a lot.
We haven't got there yet, so it's next week. Really. When the clocks change, then you'll find a lot of the places around here. And here, I think more stay open than other places.
Yeah.
So a lot of places will close.
Yeah.
You won't get many Chiringuitos after next week.
No.
Whereas now, they're all still open at the minute. But this next weekend, when the clubs change, will probably be when a lot of them go.
Yeah.
So I think in our area, there's probably, from one end of the town to the other, there's probably about 8. And I think, off the top of my head, there's about 2 that stay open after this weekend.
Yeah.
And the rest
So a
go.
lot of smaller bars that only kind of open in the summertime, even little shops, maybe even little news agents, depending on where you are.
There's a 2 or 3 shops in Lopagan that
Yeah.
only do. There's a shoe shop. There's a couple of shoe shops that do shoes in the summer. There's a sports shop that only does the summer. So that will happen. Lopagan in our area is, I think it probably has more stays open than a lot of other areas.
Because it's quite a warm winter here, so those other areas are
But there will
colder.
be others that really do close down, and that's still the same. So that is something that you have to think about if you're looking to try and get some work, because it is very seasonal.
Very seasonable. Yeah, seasonable.
Seasonal.
Yeah, so it's definitely something to keep in mind. Yeah. I mean, this year hasn't been too bad, but you can almost always see the articles that you read in the newspaper at the end of the summer, how the unemployment goes again, like drop.
Because I mean, the other thing
goes
to
up,
that
should I
is
say,
around here, there's not many hotels, but I think there's only Triana and the last three that stay open and the others closed. Getting into the shadow at the back now.
You can sit back now. Coming over.
So what is different the other way around then? So what can you do in winter that you can't do in the summer? Or there's not easy to do in the summer?
Yeah.
So what things are that?
So there's lots of little nice things that you can do around here that people seem to be really into. In this area in particular, and again, Andalusia as well, and places in
I think like
Extremadura.
where there's sort of bodies of water. So
The Torrevieja, I imagine, would be amazing as well. Yeah. Anywhere, there's great bird watching.
Yeah.
And again, I was going to say it's not really my thing, but then I love seeing the flamingos. in this area. There's be like loads of wherever.
That's the king and the mosquitoes. That's why we're watching this one mosquito.
No, it's a fly. It's only a fly. It's not.
We'll ignore it.
Yeah, a lot of mosquitoes in this area. It's worth highlighting. That's something that people don't really think is going to bother them so much. But when you're on holidays, you know, you get loads of bites and you forget about it. But oh my God, and they bite me all the time.
I wasn't too bad on that side of town. I have got nets on everywhere. So
yeah. It's quite. When you're. I think that we're close to the Salinas here.
Well, the new house that we bought, it's got everything. It's got all things plugged in, when there's nobody in it. Yeah. So that's definitely.
You need the mosquito plugins. All right, I have them all in winter and summer. Yeah.
I think one of the things to do there is take vitamin B1. I think it is.
All right. Okay.
And that helps.
No, I didn't know that.
They don't like it.
No, they don't. And then a lot of plants and stuff near your door, like smelling like mint and rosemary and
jasmine.
Like that.
Jasmine smells fantastic.
Lavender. Yeah, and they don't like those smells either. So yeah, lemongrass. They don't like the smell of that, of course. So yeah, there's mosquito-y, but that's not winter. It's year round. Year round in this area.
It's more so spring and autumn when it's a little bit wetter but still warm.
When they've got standing water. In Madrid, though, I don't think I ever saw a mosquito. It's more of a coastal thing, I think, and especially depending on the area that you're in. But yeah, as I was talking, so there's lovely areas where you can go and do bird watching, and it's huge in this area because, of course, we're by the Salinas, so they're like salt lakes that are by us here, and there's I can't remember how many different variety of birds there are.
Flamingos are
fantastic. I love seeing them fly. They don't look like they should be able to fly. No. They're so long and awkward looking, but I love seeing them they fly across.
You're just stand there looking at you.
Yeah, they're not afraid really, are they? I kind of worry about that though because they should be a little bit afraid. They just stand there looking at you.
Yeah, well, they're fairly hard.
Yeah, you wouldn't like to get a peck off them, would you?
No,
they're big. Yeah, they're big, but they're cool.
And then the other thing is the sort of flora and fauna.
Yeah, it's good. I love the almond trees.
The almonds are the best, yeah. You got white ones and pink ones. I always forget which ones are which. I think the pink ones are the sweet ones and the white ones are the same.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
But when that gets on the trees, it's amazing. And there's valleys all over the place. Some around here and a lot more further south.
The drive from here to say Granada, I imagine even beyond, is beautiful, isn't it? At certain periods of the year. So that's
just usually starts around February.
Christmas. Yeah. And then in Murcia and here you got what is it that's inland? It's not lavender, something purple.
The rosemary.
Rosemary and there's lavender. I think
lavender,
lavender fields. Oh my God, it's beautiful. And Murcia inland is beautiful. And that's again around February time. It's kind of different everywhere, but it's around February.
And the jacaranda trees as well. They're very tough.
And the cherry blossoms, because cherry blossoms in other places it's closer to like maybe Easter. But in this area, it does be earlier. So you get the cherry blossoms again around February. And so it's beautiful and it really does look gorgeous. So yeah, there's really nice things. And it's a really great time to go hiking because it's still warm enough to be outside in a t-shirt and not cold at all. Especially when you start walking, it's gorgeous.
You've got the olive picking in November.
Harvest time.
And you've got at Christmas, you've got the oranges. So here you get lots of oranges. You get them twice a year. You get one in the summer and one just at Christmas.
Yeah.
And then when you see that's fantastic. And they're in full glow.
Yeah.
Around here.
And then obviously you haven't mentioned it, but it's all part of the clock change and all that nonsense. Like one of the things I used to really dislike about, because the weather doesn't really bother me that much. I do like.
We talk about it all the time.
I do.
Don't bother us though. We don't care.
As far as I didn't move to Spain for the sun because I'm not really that into the heat. But the thing that I do like is the light. In Ireland, it'd be getting dark at like 3:00 in the afternoon. Yeah. Pitch black,
and you do notice a big difference when you go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even when I went to, was it Manchester that time?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it never got light. I felt like.
When was that? That was about November, wasn't it? We used to be beginning.
Would have been the very beginning of December, I think it was.
Yes.
And I swear to you, I think I was there for 3 days. It wasn't daylight once. It got slightly less dark. Like it was a grey kind of colour, and then pitch black, and then grey, and then pitch black. I was like, oh my God, because obviously Manchester's going more north than Dublin where I was. So it's even worse. I was like, Christ alive, that's mad. It was, I mean, Ireland probably wasn't 3:00 in the afternoon. It's probably a bit later actually. You probably get a bit more in Ireland. But it was when I was in, when I used to work for one of the airlines, their head office was in Leeds.
Yeah. further north again.
Honest to God,
Yeah.
it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it was pitch black outside, like nighttime darkness.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can deal with that. So that's the thing that I like about the sun, of course, the weather and everything like that, and where you're located, of course, that it's like light all the time, practically, until when it would start getting dark here now at this time of year.
The worst time, so the longest day, I would say, it'll start about 5:30,
Yeah.
going dark,
The
and be dark
worst
by
day.
6:30.
Yeah,
And that'd be your worst, because I remember we used to have to change the timers on
yeah,
the lights on the shop.
yeah.
Yeah, so we'd put them on as we left, so
Yeah.
like 6
But we
o'clock.
would still only get in
Yeah,
the
it
dark.
wasn't
It wasn't
dark.
pitch
No,
or
it wasn't
anything.
dark.
No,
We
it's
never
still
left
getting
or
dark.
arrived in the
Yeah.
dark.
And it's absolutely beautiful here as well with sunsets in the winter. It's insane, like the purple and orange in the sky.
Today was so clear today.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I love the sunsets. They're lovely. So yeah, some really nice things about the winter, because I felt like we were going to be talking a lot about, the cold houses and the this and the that, but it's actually, I love the winter.
There's nothing you can't deal with.
No.
You just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You have to accept you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Once you've done it, like now, I don't think, I'm going to have a bad winter. I mean, I'm in an apartment.
Yeah.
And, we've got the heaters.
Yeah.
So I'll put them on and I'll put on the thermostat.
Mhm.
And, and you change, the other thing you do as well is you change your eating habits. So what you eat, which is no different to anywhere else in the world, I suppose.
Yeah.
But you start to have more wintry things. Like you get the slow cooker out, which I haven't had the slow cooker out since about June, or perhaps before that.
Yeah, I don't really feel like having a Sunday roast in the summer at all. I
No.
mean, people do all the way through, but I just don't feel like that kind of food in the summer when I'm too warm.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd start going back to that. I'd have more fish and stuff like that.
So
in the
obviously,
summer.
if people are, like British or Irish or whatever, they'll have their staples for winter. But what are some of the Spanish staples? What are something, if you've come here, you live in here,
Yeah.
because Spanish do have those kinds of foods. What are some good examples
Yeah.
of Spanish winter comfort food?
Yeah. So you can eat them veggie, but there's a lot of them that are quite meat based, made in meat as well. So it's difficult to eat them. You don't eat meat, but you've got cocido, which is usually related to Madrid. So it's cocido madrileño, usually is the famous one. But
Right.
cocido is just like a stew. It's like a boiled vegetable type stew, which is a good one for me. And then you've got falada as well, which is like I think that one's with beans and stuff like that. And potato. And then you have lentejas con chorizo.
I love
So
lentejas.
lentils with chorizo. So
Yeah,
that's
like
another
that
one. Yeah. Again, these are all associated with different areas, but it's pretty mixed. People tend to eat them everywhere, but you might have more cocido in Madrid, and you might have more fabada in Asturias, and so linked with different areas. I wrote down some more. What else did I write? Oh, that was pretty much. So
Migas is the one.
migas is your
Migas is the one
ready-to-eat.
that if you said that, what is a winter food, majority of Spanish people would say migas.
Migas.
Because it really is winter.
It's what they have when it rains.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when it rains. If it rains, they start getting
Yeah,
the migas on.
And migas is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's fried bread,
Yeah.
chorizo sausage.
I always say it's kind of like
Uh,
stuffing.
Yeah, a little bit
little
like
bit
stuffing.
drier
but
stuffing.
it's still, the bread is still obviously cubes of bread.
Yeah, it's like-
a bit like croutons.
Yeah, more separated.
Yeah.
Kind of
And then chorizo and normal sausages,
yeah.
all mixed up. It's
Yeah.
a little bit. I find it a little bit gaggy. I like
Yeah.
a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I don't say I have a massive bowl of it.
The only thing I'd say is depending on who makes it for you.
Yeah.
So I've had it, when they make it in the center of the town and they make it in these massive paella
Yeah.
pan, like they're probably not paella pans, but that's what they look like to me. They're huge. When they're made like that, they tend to be a little bit more oily, more, I don't know, there's something that's a tang that's not quite nice. But then I've had Alex make them.
So you got to get the right one, right
Delicious.
yes.
Although Alex is a chef, but not only is he a chef, he's an amazing chef. So
Yeah.
I was quite lucky. And I worked in restaurants and stuff where Alex used to work, and other people who worked with them, it started to rain, they'd get the migas on, just for the staff dinner and stuff like that, and they were amazing. But then when you have them when they're made, it's not nothing to do with the chef. It's probably just when you're making that much, it's more difficult to make
Hard
it
to
nice. I
control
think.
it long and keep
but-
heat central
yeah.
and all that.
Once it rains, it's a rainy day food to put the migas on. And migas, I think, literally just means breadcrumbs. I think that's what it translates into, but that's what the dish is, and it's very popular.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the winter in Spain, you'll start seeing creeping into the supermarkets. It's kind of a Christmas food, but now it's available all winter. So turron.
Yeah, it's
So,
in now because it's
in,
my
isn't it?
favourite.
Yeah, Alex has already got
The
some.
Mercury one is so good.
Oh, it's so good.
There's 2 packets and it's so cheap. It's like €2 for a big bar.
Yeah.
But the problem is I eat a full bar.
Yeah.
I've done some
it's
TikToks
so
on it.
easy.
TikToks. TikToks on it because I just love it. And it's
Oh my God, it's
ridiculous.
delicious, isn't it? Yeah. What even is it though? I was just thinking we've got
That's almonds again, isn't it?
it's just almond.
Yeah.
Isn't it? But it's like it's
But they do one that is
Different ones,
chocolate
yeah.
and honey roasted peanuts. Oh my God.
Alex always gets the cheesecake one.
Yeah. Oh.
It's a nice one. It's quite far away from what I think the original Turon was.
Yeah.
Though. It's just
The
basically
modern version.
called Turon, but it's not actually Turon.
Yeah.
I think this year you're going to see a lot of that Dubai chocolate Turon as well. Do you
Yeah.
like that? I thought it was quite nice. No, I like it.
Okay.
And then they have these other things, which is again, it's more related to Christmas, but they'll start creeping into the supermarket soon. They're called polvorones, and I call them dusty biscuits.
Yeah, dusty biscuits, yeah. Some of them are all right. Some of them are really claggy.
Oh my
Really
God.
claggy. That
Yeah.
really hard to
Like,
eat.
I'm not mad on them, I'll be honest.
No,
you like
I'm
them?
all right. You know, there's certain flavours I do. I'm not too keen on marzipan. So when it's in, and some of them are quite marzipan-y in
Marzipan.
flavour,
Yeah.
but a lot of them are just like you get lemon one or orange
Yeah.
one or I don't like.
For me, I'm like super texture. You know, like I can be turned off of food, even if it tastes nice, by the texture.
Yeah,
So for me, that dusty, because polvo literally means dust. So
Yeah.
they are dusty biscuits, polvorones. And for me, that texture of it just falling to dust in your mouth is like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
about
I
it
like it.
I don't
Well,
like.
I quite like it.
No, not I don't.
yeah, and they
So-
start to you can get them by weight, can't you?
Yeah.
So you can get them out, so you can pick different ones.
It's like pick and
It's like
mix.
pick and mix. Yeah, it is pick and mix. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's not quite the same as you get in a cinema, but it is. Yeah, yeah, it's good.
There's ones they make, oh God, I can't remember what they're called now. Alex's favorite, and they're delicious. They're not polvorones, but they'll be like in the same area. God, what are they called? But they're like pastry. They're usually kind of star shaped a little bit, and they're like a denser
Bananas.
pastry. And it's
Oh yeah.
they're nice. They're very nice. God, I can't remember the called. I'll find out what they're called, and in subtitles, I'll pop the.
Try all these
word in.
things.
So check the
Go in and
subtitles.
pick all these weird things that are sitting there that you've not seen in. Just try them.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
get too much,
my
get a
word
little
for
bit.
it. Just because I don't like it, I've tried them. I've tried them loads of
Yeah.
times, but
Oh,
I just
I mean,
can't deal with
not
it.
being funny. I tend to like things. That's why I'm like I am.
I do like Turon though. I like the
Yeah.
Turon a lot.
So you've got the chocolate, and what's the Criente?
Oh yeah.
So that's a bit like it used to be
Yeah.
that. It used to be that in England. England used to have that. It's like a bit like Rice Krispies inside chocolate. Although here they do that type, but also do the ones with little bits of Turon in as well. Oh my God, so
Yeah.
good.
So nice, delicious. Yeah.
And that Mercadona chocolate is very creamy.
Yeah.
It's not plasticky. Some chocolates in Spain can be a bit plasticky.
Peats on you.
Yeah,
Peats
a
on
bit
it. Yeah.
in the top of your mouth, but the Mercadona's own chocolate is so. Oh,
And yeah, it is creamy. So it is like I like that Turon like directly from the fridge. Like it will like be melty almost straight away.
Yeah.
Holding it in your hand, like
because Irish chocolate is always very creamy compared to even English chocolate.
It's different.
The,
Isn't it?
the dairy milk from Ireland is a lot nicer
Oh,
than the dairy milk
It's a
from
lot
England.
nicer. Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. English
It's
people
true,
are
it's
always
true,
like,
it's a
it's not,
fact.
it's not like it
Right,
totally
well,
is.
it
Yeah.
is. And
Something to do with the dairy they use, I think.
sometimes here you get the Irish one because obviously of the EU.
Yeah.
So the dairy milk, check on the back if you can see where it's from, see if it's an Irish one because it is
Much
it's just
nicer.
so much creamier.
Even the McDonald's is nicer in Ireland, I'll be honest with you. It's honestly lovely. Anyway, straying.
Going-
We don't want to talk about
off the route.
food for half an hour, like in our
We could, no.
that was our episode we did. It was supposed to be about like traditions, and we spoke about cake for like 30 minutes.
We're good at cake.
We like food in general. Oh, and I can't move on without saying churros and chocolate. This is something that they eat though in the summer.
That
and
is all
winter.
time, isn't it?
Yeah, but I enjoy
But it lends itself to winter.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so more because, and it's like when you go to like the little Christmas activities and the Christmas markets and stuff like that, or just the markets in the winter, and they always have a stand with churros and chocolate, and the chocolate when it's hot and it's nice, and you have it like standing out, you're just standing around looking at the
That's great.
market.
Love it. Love it. There's a really good one in front of my house.
Yeah.
It's very close, dangerously close.
Oh God,
It's
stop.
so good.
Yeah, you can get it.
And the other thing they do here now, which I think is a little bit of an influence from perhaps Northern Europe, but they do seem to do it in a lot of places, is the glühwein, the sort of hot wine. when you go out to an event.
More.
Christmas in Mercia, and
No,
will be a few.
Starting to creep into Mercia.
I don't think it's as common as it
No.
would be in Northern Europe, but it is something you can get.
I've never seen it in the little town events here and the coast. But I went into Mercia City last year, and they had a gorgeous event on in Mercia City. You know, the lights, they lit up the whole park in Mercia.
That park.
Oh, it's so
We're going to do a Christmas episode, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we're also going to sort of indirectly walk you around Mercia.
Yeah.
Because we've both done it several times, and it is great to go. And I'm sure it's the same in a lot of cities. Maybe so long as this. I'm sure it's the same in a lot of cities, but just because we're near Mercia, we can help you a bit. And there's we're going to create a little walkway for you to follow, whether you're going just for a couple of hours or whether you're going for a day, just to talk about the places that you need to see.
Yeah.
Because the great thing about Mercia is it's not very big as a city, so you can literally park and walk around it. You don't need to get any trams, don't need to get any taxis. Just go around. And at Christmas, you can sort of go from square to square all the way around it and see the Christmas things.
That's pretty.
Have some nice lunch, have some tapas, have some, churros and things. And
I was thinking we could see if we could get maybe Belen, who was here on our podcast from Just Law, because she's based in Malaga. See if we can get a little video of her about that street in Malaga. And then I'll see if I can get Jamie to give me a video of Oviedo. So whilst we're based in Mercia, but we can maybe put...
And anybody else, I mean, we've got an email. If you've got, once your Christmas sort of sets up and it's set up in the city or town where you are, and you think it's nice, just send us an email to hello@spainfullyhonest.com.
Yeah.
We'll put it on one of the...
We'll put it into the Christmas episode, so we can kind of show a little bit, or that special episode we're going to do about the Christmas lights and stuff.
Yeah. We'll have to do a couple.
Yeah.
We'll try and do close together.
I love Christmas, so we'll get Christmassy.
Me too, I like Christmas. But there's a lot of, I mean, in the UK and Northern Europe and Ireland, Christmas is special as well.
Yeah.
It's great. But, there are places here that do a really good job at trying to make it, and it can feel nice.
Yeah, I think actually the Christmas lights in Ireland and stuff are great, but I think they know because it's so sunny, they have to really create the ambience here, Yeah. The Christmas lights are amazing, even in the small towns. Like the lights are amazing, and the activities they do for the kids and for families in general are great. So whilst the only thing I don't like about being in Spain at Christmas is it's so sunny, especially where I am, that it's just weird. It's just weird.
It is nice to have snow and cold and wet feet.
Even if it's cold or so,
just makes you feel like that, and you don't get that so much. Not that you know it if you walk around Mercia, because they will all have their thickest coat on, their scarves on, their woolly hats. I think it's mainly because I bought this and I'm going to bloody wear it. I bought it, I'm going to wear it.
It's a bit colder now in Mercia City, in fairness. It gets colder in there than it does.
It's all relative. I mean, it's not
freezing right now.
It's not Manchester drizzle.
No. I always say the coldest place I've ever been, in Liverpool was really cold. It was so cold. But coming out of the airport in Leeds, that wind that comes up.
That is cold.
I don't think I've ever felt cold like it.
Top of a hill, it's proper cold.
It's such a welcome back. I always feel sorry for people flying out from here into Leeds Airport. Christ alive, to freeze the bones off you.
That leads us on to something else, actually. Because I've got an outdoor life here. So you do go out a lot. And when you go out, you don't necessarily sit inside or sit in somebody's lounge. You might sit in an outside terrace, but you're still outside. What you do find, though, is a lot of people get colds and flu, but it's not because they've directly caught it here. It's because they've caught it off somebody who's been back to the UK and been sat in a plane. And they talk about this thing about, planes have a filter that filters out the cold, the colds and the flus. Absolute rubbish, because it only does that once it goes through the filter. But before it goes through the filter, the person sat next to you, you're breathing their air.
Yeah.
And then it goes through the filter. Well, that's too late.
You're all on top of each other.
And I find it, if I go, I guarantee eventually I'll come back with a cold.
Yeah.
And then, so you get that. So then you're sitting with people and then you get colds. So do be aware. You might get colds as well here, especially if you're mixing with people that are going backwards and forwards, or you're going backwards and forwards.
And then I find the conditions as well here, because it gets like cold at night and then so hot in the day and then cold and hot and cold and hot. It seems to create that condition for getting like I call it a change of temperature cold.
Yeah.
So I would get a lot more colds here than I used to get in Ireland. But like they're not as bad. But like you get like lots of little ones from that change of temperature. Or maybe I'm just mixing, like speaking to people, because my mum, of course, when she was on there a little while ago, she used to fly back and forth, So we were probably picking them.
She might get a little bit immune because she's going backwards and forwards all the time.
She always had a cold.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was going to say she'd be passing it to you, or passing it to
she has like a dodgy, what do you call them?
Nose.
No. Well, the ones up the big sinuses. So I think she's like prone to getting them. So yeah, she's always.
So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
And when you do go back, and you can get me some if you want, get some night nurse because you can't get it here.
Right.
Was that?
What do we get here? Coldina is good here. Coldina, it's like orange flavored.
Nurofen,
Yeah. I like Coldina because it's like a nice taste.
Yeah. So there are things you can
There
get.
are ones you can get. I think it's just people get.
Gripe, is it? It's flu
Oh,
gripe.
that's a strong one. That's a good. Yeah. There's one that's called something like that because a gripe is a flu.
Yeah.
So you would need something stronger when you had a flu. But yeah, we'll go to your doctor. But yeah, there are things you can get. I think people get quite attached to the ones that you knew about when you're in Ireland or the UK or wherever you're from. But there are ones that are similar over here. I don't know if they're as strong, are they?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's, night nurse is one to itself. It's one to its own night nurse. Yeah. It helps you sleep.
Yeah, it does. I don't like them.
I love it. I'm addicted to it. I'm mouthful of that.
I don't really take medicine much, me. I'm not a man on medicine, which is good because then when I need it, it really works. Yeah.
And we said this last week, I think, that in a lot of the chemists they'll give you ones. If you tell them what you want, what your symptoms are. There are a lot of chemists that will tell you.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah. I think they actually recommend that you, when something like that, go into the pharmacy first, into the chemist first, and then just have a chat with them. The pharmacist is always going to say, "Oh, you probably should go see your doctor if you need to go see your doctor." And if he thinks, "I'll try this," he'll recommend you something. So yeah, definitely use the pharmacies first. They're great. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, so that touched on Christmas because we're not going to expand on Christmas because we're doing in a proper one. What other activities then are there in winter? That type of thing, because you always tend to think of fiestas being summertime.
Yeah.
Because everybody's out in the streets and whatever and various things. But what other activities are there in winter that are a bit like fiestas but not fiestas?
There's a massive one in Spain. It's called Carnaval.
Right,
they're all around the same time. So you've got the Carnival, similar time, should I say. So you've got the Carnival in like South America. So it's around that time frame as well. So they've got Carnaval
around Feb,
here.
Isn't it? Around,
February.
Millie was in it. Millie was in the one for San Javier.
Yeah. So they do it in there's certain areas that are more into Carnival than others. I would say it's going to be throughout Spain. They love it. But then you might be in certain towns that like really do it, So it's a big one. And it's linked to, the dates are linked to Easter.
Yeah.
So
it's roughly halfway between Christmas and Easter. Roughly.
So it's like, it's the end, it marks the end of winter and it's usually at the beginning of Lent.
I think they just made it up. Just for like, oh, well, it's a long time till Easter. We need something in between. Yeah. Let's have a carnival.
Yeah. So there are some areas in Spain that do it amazing. So you've got Cadiz is one of the big areas. And then the Canary Islands, especially Tenerife, it's a great place to go and see the Carnival. And then actually in the region of Murcia, Águilas is known for its carnival celebration. But then in all the towns and the schools, they'll do like, it has Halloween vibes. The kids will go and dress up for something for Carnival. So that's like in Ireland, I don't know about now, but in Ireland for Halloween, you can get dressed up as anything. You could be a princess, you could be something scary, you could be whatever you wanted. But here, they kind of like, on Halloween, it's for dressing up as something scary.
Yeah.
And they kind of look at you weird if you get dressed up as something that's not scary. Because Carnaval is for dressing up as Spider-Man or whatever.
Or extrovert. I mean, there are shops that special. So you've got the Chinese shops will do some carnival stuff. They will do Halloween, they will do Christmas. But there are dedicated carnival shops, and they are impressive. Yeah. I mean, they are, like you see these Gypsy Kings weddings, whatever it is, or what do you call it? Some of the dresses you see are absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, they're insane. They're really cool. Yeah. And then there's obviously brilliant parades.
My daughter was in one. The only thing I would say, if you can get your family into it, or you or your children into it, brilliant, because it's quite an honour to be asked to be in it. But remember, it is in February.
Yeah.
And I just remember, feeling so sorry for her because she had like effectively a leotard on with sparkly tights and a big thing in her hair and peacock feathers and they were walking and dancing down the street. But it was freezing.
Cold and
we were stood there waiting 2 hours before they set off, and then they set off, and they were all freezing by the time they did.
Yeah.
Because it started at sort of lunchtime, it wasn't too bad, but by the time it sort of kicked off properly, it was sort of 6 o'clock, and the sun had gone down. It was freezing.
It's bad, isn't it? Once that sun loses its heat, it's like it gets cold almost straight away.
If you get invited, great, do it, but just take a coat. She might not want it on to start off with, but might need it later.
Well, even more so for the people stood there watching.
Yeah. Well, they weren't too bad because they could put their coat on, but they had to be in their leotard for this thing.
So sometimes when you just stood there watching and you can't move, sometimes the guys are like, marching down or they're dancing and they kind of get to warm up a little bit, but you're just stood on the side. Yeah, you can put your coat on, but after a while your feet turn into blocks. It's be cold. And especially if you go out in the middle of the day and it's like this, like scorching sun, and then you're still out. And so you have to make sure that layering. Bring a jacket with you.
Bring a jacket, of course. Bring a jacket. I mean, when you need to find out about these things, one of the good ones to find out about it is like Spectrum Radio or somewhere like that, because they have radio stations that have a local sort of theme to them.
Yeah.
So you'll get one that's Costa Clida, one that's Costa Blanca South, one that's Costa Blanca North, Mallorca.
Oh, really? I didn't know they did that.
So they have news for those areas, which is quite rare. I mean, I suppose you get it in the Euro Weekly News as well, because that has areas that are specific to it, so they'll have a little bit. So that's where you'd find it, because otherwise you might struggle to find it.
Yeah, because I do the Costa Calida paper, so it's mostly concentrated on the coast. So we tend to cover the coastal area. We go inland a bit as well, but it's mostly the coast. And then you would have the paper for Almeria, Costa del Sol, Axarquia, Costa Blanca South, North, blah, blah, blah.
The Spectrum FM frequencies for each area. We'll put them on the notes at the end.
Yeah.
Because it is a good, not just for that, because they do local news, they do traffic, they do, all sorts.
Yeah, and then coming up to Christmas, there'll be so many activities and things going on as well. And, I feel like you have to make it more Christmassy for yourself here in the sun. Yeah. So like finding out about all those events
it's such a, the number of times you think, I wish I'd known about that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's some great things.
I love, because I go mad on events in the newspaper when it comes up to Christmas. I love when I get the little messages through. Thank God I actually went, and I remember this lady sent me a message and she showed me a picture of what she actually made. It was like a workshop event. And she was like, I'm so happy I found out about this event before it actually happened, instead of reading about what it was like afterwards.
Because you always think, I'll go to that next year. Next year I'm going, I'll be there, I'll be the first one in queue. You forget that.
Yeah. I mean, the town halls put them all up, but of course they put up so much every day that it gets lost quite quickly on their webpage. So what these, whether it's the Euro Weekly or whether it's Spectrum FM, what they do is they pull out that information that they think we're...
And it's in English, obviously. So it makes sense, and
they
give you some information about it, where it is, when it starts, as much as they can now.
Yeah.
So obviously things change.
So I just start screenshotting them on my phone. When they put them up, I screenshot them on my phone to just remind myself.
And we'll make sure we do it as well.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And then I think the last thing you want to talk about was roads and driving in the winter. Yeah,
so this is a sort of just a general thing, and most people think, I drive in the UK, so we'll be fine in Spain. The difference here probably is the roads are not designed for bad weather. So the type of tarmac and surface they use is very smooth. In the UK, they use a lot of like chippings which are then in the tarmac, but big chippings, so they're quite grippy in rain and bad weather. Whereas here they don't. They keep use a very smooth tarmac.
Yeah.
And so it's fine in the summer, and it's no problem at all. It's a little bit warm and probably very grippy. The moment it gets wet, it becomes very slippery, especially on sort of roundabouts and things where there's a lot of tyre rubber that's been left on the surface. So be careful when it's not been made and it rains a little bit, it can be really slippery.
Yeah.
So just be careful. And the other thing as well it does, you don't see as many potholes here. There are certain roads that never get repaired, so they get potholes over years. But here, once it does rain, you'll suddenly find potholes come up very quickly because the car passing over the water forces the tyre forces the water down into the crack, expands the crack. Water doesn't compress at all, so it just explodes the road, and then you start to get potholes. So be careful.
Well, people in Ireland probably wouldn't call them potholes because people in Ireland, especially, I might offend them and say, so I'm going to say, I'll just say Ireland. Then I'm going to say a certain location, so I won't. But like, there's pictures of, people have this, there's like an account on Instagram or Facebook, I can't remember, and it's like Potholes Ireland, where people get into the potholes and they can be like waist height.
That's a pothole.
It's a great account, by the way.
It's a pot cave.
So yeah, when people say potholes and they come over to Spain, they're like, this isn't a pothole by comparison to what.
Yeah, that's really true. The other thing to watch out for as well, two things actually. One is your windscreen wipers, because you've probably not used them for 3 months because you haven't had to. And so you might find them deteriorated because of the heat or they're stuck to the glass. So check your windscreen wipers before it starts to rain rather than after.
Yeah,
and the other thing as well is, and you'll see cars parked up in particularly in this area, and they've put like sheets over the tyres and a sheet over the car, obviously to keep the sun off it. But the tyres, a lot of the problems with tyres in Spain is not that they lose the tread, it's that the rubber deteriorates because of the heat. So I've just taken my car for ITV, and it had really good tread on it because it don't get used much. But he said, you need to change the tyres. And I said, what do you mean? Look, the tread's perfect. And he said, look at the side. And it had the cracks in it. He said, it's the heat. The sun onto the tyre deteriorates the rubber. That will blow out. Even though it's grippy, it's got the grips, but it won't go out. So, just be careful if you can. If you're leaving your car for a long time and not using it, try to park it in the shade. That's obvious things, but or if you can't do that, stick some sheet over the tires or something.
Yeah. You see people putting like cardboard boxes around the wheels.
Yeah, that's what it's for, to keep the sun off, to stop it perishing so much. Because the sun, we've said this in loads of episodes, the sun is so strong.
It's so
strong.
Yeah, really. You don't even realise how.
Yeah, all the the rubber around windows, all that sort of thing starts to crack and perish. Yeah. So try and keep the sun off your car if you can.
Cool. Well, as the sun is coming over here to blind me, I think that's everything, is it?
Yeah.
Like, apologies for the visuals this week. We usually, I'd say, record in the morning time and the sun doesn't shine into this area, but we had to record in the evening time and we've never done it before, so we didn't know what we didn't know what it was going to look like.
It's a first, another first in the 19th episode.
So we hope that was a good episode. I hope it was just, it's not about saying it's good or it's bad in Spain in the winter. It's just about saying these little things happen and it's nice to be aware of them.
And it's not, again, say this virtually every time, but it's not put us off living here. So you just get, you're used to things, you change things, you adapt to it. I don't think there's anywhere in the world that's got a perfect climate. I can't believe it. Because even when you have got a good climate, I still love the day I have to put the duvet on.
Yeah.
Even though I love the fact I don't have to have a duvet for the summer.
I gotta say though, Oviedo's looking pretty good to me. Jamie's up there at the moment. Oh yeah, that looks like a really nice mix. That's something.
You'll see. It's another couple of months.
Yeah. Let's just go on. Let's see what he's like in January.
There's bound to be places that. I like this area more in May and like October than perhaps I do.
I could even say March to the end of June, I'd like to be here. Yeah. But then I would like to go, say, north, July, August, maybe even September.
Yeah.
October, November, December. Just thinking Christmassy. I like a bit Christmassy, so that variation there. Madrid is nice in autumn. They have an actual autumn in Madrid, and it feels Christmassy in Madrid as well because you get that crispness in the air. So maybe say November and December, January, February, Madrid. That's what I'd like to do.
Okay. So what we're saying is buy 2 or 3 houses. Don't just buy one. Have one here for a certain time of the year and one somewhere else. Loads of Spanish do Madrid and here.
Oh, that's true.
Thousands.
That's true.
Hundreds of thousands, not just thousands.
Yeah.
So they do that probably for that reason. But you could do it a third one. If you've got a bit of cash, get one further north as well. And we could always come and do a podcast from your lounge. Just send us an email at hello@spainfullyhonest.com and we'll be up there like a flash doing a podcast from your Bilbao. Sea View Lounge.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Excellent.
Have a good time. Be careful. Look after yourself. Don't get too cold. Bye. Thank you for listening. And please don't forget to subscribe. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music. So please subscribe to those. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps us get higher up in the rankings so more people will see it. The more people that see it, we can get more guests on things. So please, and write us a review if you like it, or write us a review if you don't like it. I prefer if you do like it. It really helps, honestly. So thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you.